Welcome back to Black Cat Crypto Club, everybody. My name is Drake. Today, in this video, we are going to get into another video that was requested by a viewer. And I was posed the question, what I would do in a hypothetical situation where if I was stripped of everything I had down to basically an apartment and like a bike to ride around, what I would do to build back my wealth, knowing what I know now, not having a degree, and just that kind of hypothetical situation. So we're going to get into all of that, guys. But before we do, again, if you guys haven't already, please consider Ez's Rescue Ranch and donating and helping these animals out. These are abused and abandoned animals, so anything you can give, a few dollars, even $2, $2, $3, $5, $10, really goes a long way to help these animals out. So go over and check them out. The PayPal's at the bottom of this flyer, but I will also leave that PayPal address as well as all of their information in the description of the video, as always. So head over and check them out. So I am actually just going to kind of read a little bit from this comment, just so I make sure I get it all right. Hypothetical scenario, what I would do if I was at my current age, but I was stripped of all of my assets down to a studio apartment, a bike for transportation, and simple sandwiches. Well, first of all, sandwiches are good. You know, I think, a simple sandwich is a good way to save money. But if you want to save money on food, beans, rice, and potatoes with a little bit of hot sauce, that's where it's at for me. But all right, what would I do to build my wealth back? Same knowledge that I have now without the current foundation and luxuries. This also includes not having a degree, what job is best, what do I think about an emergency fund, what to invest into with the little excess you would have. I also think that time is as valuable as currency, and I want to optimize it in all areas of my life. Absolutely. So let's go back to that first part where I'm basically down to an apartment, some simple transportation, and food. First of all, I do kind of live that way. I own my home, obviously, but my transportation situation, I have a truck and a Prius, and neither are great, right? Like I have the ability to go out and buy, nice cars, but I'm driving around in a 2008 Prius that is constantly having to have me replace battery cells in hybrid battery. So, I mean, I'm doing everything I can as far as the transportation thing to save money and allow myself to keep investing into Bitcoin as much as possible. So that, I do kind of live that way. As far as food goes, guys, right now I have probably eaten out once, maybe twice in the last 6 months. But I do kind of I've been trying to minimize my expenditures, my costs on just about everything. I haven't bought a new pair of shoes in about 2 years. And I've actually considered selling like my truck or my my tractor or my trailer. And that's all due to the knowledge that I have. And I just want to be in Bitcoin right now. I see what's coming, and I've really considered selling a lot of my stuff. I have sold quite a bit of things around the house and building supplies that I built with my house to get every little penny I can to put into Bitcoin, because I do see this being a great opportunity. But if I was stripped of everything, I would, what job would I do? If I didn't have a career, or if I didn't have a degree, what job would I do? I'd probably look at something construction wise. And the reason is I kind of like that work anyway. I built my own home, and I kind of know that stuff. But obviously, pay would be great, but construction, if you're just starting out in construction, the pay isn't anything to write home about. But the point here would be, is getting into cryptocurrency right now, with the knowledge I have, that would be the key. And I'm not just saying that because this is a crypto channel and I've got to talk about crypto. Guys, the situation that is unfolding is unlike, if it was just a regular cycle with the halving and what Bitcoin does after the halving, it would probably still be the same. But guys, we are looking at something different with these ETFs. We've basically taken Bitcoin from being this like side market thing to opening up an entirely different market. And oh, by the way, that market is the biggest financial market in the world. It's Wall Street. And so Bitcoin's now in this market and this other market that we've always had for nerds and geeks who like to play around with code in their basement. But now it's on the biggest financial market in the world with, by the way, way more money and way more possibilities. So this cycle, guys, I hate to say it because I've heard this every single time, but this cycle really is different in just that fact that we have this entire new market opened up to us. We have the old market, but we've had this new one. So knowing what I know, the key would be getting into Bitcoin. And I think it was Michael Saylor. I was watching Michael Saylor talk one time, and he said, the kid that is working minimum wage at McDonald's and is putting what he can into cryptocurrency now will look back 8 years later, will look back and realize that working minimum wage was the best paying job that he's ever had, just because he put a little bit into Bitcoin. And that is absolutely true, guys. Let's just run some numbers really quick. So let's say you're working at McDonald's, or I'm working, let's do my hypothetical situation. I'm working at an entry position in construction, and I'm earning $15 an hour, which is probably about right for an entry job into construction, I would guess, at least around here. So I'm earning $15 an hour times 40 hours a week times 52 weeks in a year. That comes out to $31,200 a year gross. Now I don't know what taxes would be. When I had a really good paying job, I think I was paying around 27% in taxes. So let's go off of that. If I'm taxed 20%, that would be 27% tax, including Social Security and all of that. Let's see, we would be down to 73% of that would be $22,776 every year. Now, if I was putting everything I possibly could above what I needed to live into Bitcoin, I could probably do pretty well, but let's say I just put 10% in of this net income. Now, it's hard to do, like, obviously you'd be dollar cost averaging every paycheck into this, but let's just say I had 10% of this kind of upfront, just to make it easy, times 10%. So I have $2,276 to put into Bitcoin. So we're just going to go off what's happening now. So 4 years ago, we did this, and we put in this $2,000, 276 into Bitcoin 4 years ago, and let's just see what it would take my wages to if I would have done that just for 1 year, not for the entire 4 years. Let's just pretend I did this for 1 year, and I put it into Bitcoin. So what was Bitcoin 4 years ago? What was the price? We were looking at $4,400 Bitcoin. So divide that by 4,400. I would have basically been able to buy about a half a Bitcoin, 0.517636363636. So let's take that and times it by what it is worth today, which right now we are currently at 64,100. 64,100. So I would have taken that $2,277 and I would have turned it into $33,180 in 4 years. So let's see what that would mean for my wage. I was earning $15 an hour. If I would have made this on top of, we basically had 20,000 after what we put in, plus the 33,000 that we made in the 4 years just from putting 10% of that in. So we ended up making, instead of 22,000 that year, we ended up making $53,678 that year. So we over doubled our salary for that year. So let's see what that means per hour. We take that 53,000, we divide it by 52 weeks. And then we divide it by 5 days in a working week and divide that by 8 hours. So we took our $15 an hour salary to $25.80 after taxes. So you just gave yourself, just by putting 10% of your income into Bitcoin, you almost doubled your salary. I mean, if we take into account that taxes are already paid out of this, you've pretty much doubled your salary. You've gone from $15 an hour to $25 after taxes. Now, when I think Michael Saylor said this, and he said 8 years. So let's run the numbers on 8 years. We did the same. 2,277, 10% of your income, 8 years ago, that would have been March of 2016. Okay, March. This is going to blow your minds, guys. I can already tell. 2016 March, we are looking at a $412 Bitcoin. 412. So at that point, we were able to buy 5.528155338 Bitcoin. Okay. So let's times that by, what are we at again today? 64,100. We've taken that $2,200 from 8 years ago. If we had done this in 8 years, we've taken that $2,000 to $354,000 and $354,354. So in 8 years, you took 10% of your income for one single year, and now you can buy an entire house in 8 years. I mean, that's insane. Okay, so let's really quick, we'll run the numbers. I'm also going to get into, I'm sure there's some criticisms of what I'm saying here. So divide that by 52 weeks, divide that by 5 days in a week, divide that by 8 hours in a day. You took your $15 an hour wage and you made it $170.36 per hour. So that's what Michael Saylor was talking about when he says, you know, the kid making minimum wage and putting as what he can into Bitcoin now, 8 years from now, he's going to look back and it's going to be the best paying job that he ever had. And that's just 1 year. If you did this for an entire 8 years and just dollar cost averaged into Bitcoin for 8 straight years, 10% of your check went into Bitcoin, I mean, the number would be just astronomical. Now, the criticisms there obviously are diminishing returns going into the future now. And, you know, past performance doesn't predict future results or whatever. So, yeah, as far as past performance not predicting the future, that's absolutely true. However, I always stress on this channel and to everybody that I suggest get into Bitcoin, I always stress that 4-year thing. Because with Bitcoin, there's major fluctuations, major, you know, volatility. But if you hold for 4 years, it's proven 100%. You can take any single day over Bitcoin's entire history. And if you would have held for 4 years previous to that day, it's 100% accurate. Never have you ever held Bitcoin for 4 years and been negative. And you've never even been close to the same. Like, it's always magnitudes above what you had 4 years ago. So past performance doesn't predict future results. True. However, with Bitcoin, right now it's batting 1,000. Never has it ever been proven differently. So there's that. And as far as diminishing returns go, I mean, that is a definite thing. You know, as market caps get bigger, returns get smaller because it's harder to move the market you have to have a lot more money coming in and going out of the market to move that market price. So that is a thing. However, guys, again, like I said, this time is massively different in my opinion. And I hate being the guy that says that, honestly, but we've never hit an all-time high before the halving. And, you know, now that I really think about it, we've gone from this fringe market to now we have that fringe market as well, but we have the biggest market in the world at our disposal now. And it's this time is going to be different. I mean, it already is different. We've hit all-time highs before the halving. The halving's a very real thing. There's nothing fundamentally changed about Bitcoin. Everything's the same. We just have this other massive market now. And it's going to be crazy. Like, this is the opportunity, guys. We're going to have downs like we do today. We're down from that 74,000, but we've always had that. And we'll continue to have down days and down weeks. But this is a bull market, guys. And once that halving comes and that supply shock kicks in a few months after the halving, things are going to be crazy. So anyways, getting back to it, that is what I would do. Knowing what I know today, if I had nothing, that's what I would be doing, is I'd be working a minimum wage job, or, you know, I'd probably look for as good of a job as I could get for something I liked. But when it comes down to it, it doesn't really matter. You know, you put 10% in and dollar cost average in, if you do that for, you know, 4 to 8 years, you're going to be so happy. So I don't know. That's what I would do. As far as an emergency fund, that is a great point. What do I think about having an emergency fund? If I was stripped of everything, I mean, it's definitely a good thing to have, right? Like, if you have a medical thing come up, obviously you need to have something. Where I'm at right now, you know, I have ways to cover myself if I did have an emergency, but I don't know, guys. Maybe, I mean, having something set aside obviously is the safest bet, but I mean, credit cards in that case wouldn't be a bad idea either. It just depends on what you're comfortable with, I guess. With what I know, I would definitely have a credit card for emergency use. And I'd be putting as much as I could into Bitcoin, knowing what I know. But for everybody else, you know, you got to do what's comfortable for you, for sure. And as far as the last point, you know, time being valuable, just as valuable as currency. I mean, that's what this is all about. If you can gain enough money to buy a house or, you know, retire. I mean, I haven't really worked since 2019. So I haven't really worked for like 5 years, guys. I've done work. Like, I've built my own house. Like me, I've had friends and relatives help me here and there, but guys, I spent a year and a half, day in, day out, 7 days a week, building a house. So I've done work, but working for somebody else who's extracting wealth out of my labor, I will never have to do that again. So time being as valuable as currency, that is absolutely what this is all about. This isn't about Bitcoin Lambos, guys. Like, bling bling. Oh, Bitcoin got me this gold necklace. Bitcoin got me this Lambo. It's the wrong idea. Bitcoin buys your time and gives you your life back, gives you the freedom to do what you want. So anyways, guys, if I was stripped of everything, knowing what I know now, that's where I would lie. Hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share this with anybody that you think might find this valuable. This is with what we have going on with Bitcoin right now, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. I really, truly believe. So please share this around with people who you care about and you think might be receptive to getting it. And as always, guys, please consider going over to ezsrescueranch again and donating a few dollars to those guys. Thank you guys for your time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.